Matthias, shall we start? What do you think? Shall we wait a couple of minutes?
Maybe 1 more minute and then we start.
Great.
I see there's a lot of people joining at the moment, so let's give them some time to connect.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Daniel.
Morning.
Okay, Luisa, if you want, you can take over the screen and start.
Okay, so thanks a lot, Mattia. Thank you, everybody, for joining this meeting today. So just to briefly recap the agenda of our 2 hours together. The event is organized by EuroCC and CASTIEL together with BDVA and EUH4D. So thank you, first of all, to Anna and Mattia to liaise with us and support in the organization of this 2 hours meeting. Now, first of all, we will go into an introduction of BDVA, EUH4D, EuroCC and CASTIEL, just to be aligned, everybody on the same level playing field. Then we'll go through the 2 sessions that we have today. The first one dealing with data protection and data preserving techniques, and the second one on federated services and data sets. Here you've got the speech and the speakers. Without going into further details, because we will cover them later, I would give the floor to Ana Garcia and then to Daniel in order to, briefly introduce this day. Thank you.
So
Ana, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Luisa. I'm just gonna share my screen. I hope you can see it. A big welcome from my side. I'm Ana Garcia, I'm Secretary General of BDVA. For those of you who don't know me, I know there are some who know me well, but some maybe not so well. And I have to say I'm very excited with this particular workshop today, and I will explain now why. But first I will do a very short introduction, mainly for those once again that are not so familiar with the Big Data Value Association. So we are an association, a European industry-driven research and innovation community, and we focus mainly on everything that has to be with the data economy and AI. And as you see, we serve in terms of policies, policies on data, on AI, but also aspects related to the digital transformation. We really have a great community. I will introduce it in a moment very quickly. But also one of our, something that is in our DNA is our network of collaborations. And for that, we are part of different partnerships, alliances, and you see at the bottom that we were very much known because of the big data value PPP. Still, I mean, EUH4D and 3 of the projects that we'll present today are part of this partnership, even when the calls are ended, because ended with Horizon 2020. We are one of the founding members of the Data and Robotics Partnership. We are part of the EuroHPC joint undertaking, where I think we position today also this workshop. And also we are part of the Data Spaces Business Alliance that I will also introduce very, very quickly, because there are connections, there are things that will be discussed today that eventually will create links with that alliance as well. So very quickly looking at the members, and you see we have half research, half industry, more or less. more or less, and distributed not in all member states, but mostly all of them. And then just giving you a flavor of all the different logos of companies, large organizations, SMEs, research institutes, and some public players. This is also to show you, so we are here, and this is a slide that we show many times. You know, it's not complete, it doesn't show the overall ecosystem, but here you see a technology readiness. Here on the vertical, you see a bit the stack, you know, from the infrastructure to the services. And we position ourselves in between everything that has to be data spaces and data value creation and artificial intelligence. So what we will discuss today has to be very much with this connection with the infrastructure side, where we have the EuroHPC, but also, as I said, we are here forming the Data Spaces Business Alliance and also the AI data and robotics. But this is just to position ourselves in the overall European ecosystem. Here you can see our structure of task forces that has been in process of changing, but I have highlighted those ones that probably are more meaningful for the discussions today. So iSpaces that Daniel will introduce in a moment, even when I have on a slide, everything that has to be with the HPC, big data, AI collaboration. And I think there will be a lot of discussions about the skills as well. Why am I presenting also the big data value PPP? I mean, we had a great success in leveraging of investments and results, but I'm bringing it up because there will be a focus today on data protection aspects, and we will have 3 projects that actually ended last year that bring their knowledge, and that's very important, no? Because we want to build in the knowledge of this project, so that's very important that they are here with us today, and I really thank them for joining us. The iSpaces, these secure data ecosystems for experimentation. This is one of the great, let's say, outcomes as aspects of BDVA. Daniel will elaborate more because the overall federation and EUHAS for Data project has been built around this community. So I don't want to elaborate more as he will do, but just to also show that since the beginning of BDVA, our iSpaces as this, secure data experimentation ecosystems are one of the key areas of work for BDVA, and that's the part where we will, I think, discuss and we'll look for a lot of synergies with our colleagues. We are a private member of the EuroHPC joint undertaking together with ETP4HPC and QUIC. And I think this workshop today is of great relevance for this partnership and the joint undertaking. So I'm very happy that finally, thanks to Luisa, other colleagues, and the whole, I mean, a very large team, we are here together to discuss about the topic that, it's not about why I'm bringing this today. This is what we did together, like before the joint undertaking started. So this document comes from 2017. This is a very technology oriented. And now, you have seen in the title of the presentation that we don't focus so much in technology, but in ecosystems. So we are doing the same thing, what we can learn from each other, from the ecosystems of HPC and the competence centers, and the ecosystems of data and AI in terms of iSpaces and digital innovation hubs. So it's great what the story that is starting today. It was necessary, and it's great that it's happening. Just mentioning with the Data Spaces Business Alliance, it's all about data, but that is very meaningful also for the HPC competence centers. And there are many activities going on, and among them, and this is still not public, but I bring it a bit as a heads up. We are working in the overall landscape of different hubs from the different communities that are at this stage engaged. And there is a document that will be published very, very soon. And just to let you know, also, we will have to eventually, as part of this roadmap of collaborations with the HPC competence centers, to see what is the connection with this, let's say, a network of hubs. And just by saying this, thank you very much, Luisa. And I'm really, as I said, excited. I think this is just the beginning of very strong collaboration. And I give you back the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Anna. So I'll immediately pass the floor to Daniel, so we can go through his presentation and learn a little bit more about the iSpaces that Anna was mentioning. So Daniel, please, when you're ready, you can start.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Anna. I guess you can see my screen, right?
Yes, we can say it.
Okay. So, well, I have to share the enthusiasm from Anna. So I am also really excited to be here. So thanks for giving EUH4D the opportunity to present together with you our project here, and also for giving me the opportunity to introduce our project and the BDVA AI Species Group. My name is Daniel Alonso, and I am project manager at ITI, Research and Technology Center in the Valencia region in Spain. I am also the chair of the AI Species Group of BDVA that Anna already presented before, and I am also the coordinator of the EUH4D project, who is very much related to the AI Species, as we will explain later on during this session. Okay. So I have prepared several slides to do the introduction, but I have to say that the most relevant aspect that it is behind the AI Species Group and then of EUH4D is collaboration. Okay, a collaboration that started 6 years ago in 2016 with the creation of the group and the involvement of the first 5 AI Species. A collaboration that has lasted or has been set up during the last years. Also organizing joint events, sharing experiences, also finding synergies and doing things together, also increasing the trust on each other, and that materialized in the EUH4D proposal that we submitted to the Horizon 2020 program by 2019, and fortunately was selected by the Commission to start the EUH4D project last year. So again, collaboration is behind the spirit of the AI Species. Again, from the very beginning, as you can see here, the group has been growing during the last years, and then in the project that we started a couple of years ago and are running here now. So I will come back to the previous slide later on in the session, but let me just introduce the project EUH4D. Again, collaboration is a key aspect of the project because it's basically the main objective is to create a federation of data-driven innovation hubs. So again, collaboration is behind the spirit of the project, and so to define common objectives towards the consecution of the objectives that you can also see here, basically to the establishment of the common European data spaces, but also to contribute to bring closer to the SMEs in our local ecosystem the data-driven innovation that is happening also in Europe. So basically, these are the 6 pillars of the project that the project is based on. So the starting point, the AI Space in 2018, as I explained before, and the evolution. Okay, from this starting point of 10 AI Spaces, the group of DIHs has been growing during the last years. So 9 new hubs were incorporated in 2021, and 9 new hubs have been incorporated in this year. All of them are AI Spaces. So as you can see, we have get very aligned the EUH4D project and the AI Species Group of BDVA. And also, as you can see here, the third pillar is the community. So the community is basically what this workshop is about today, to establish link with other communities in the European landscape and to share and to learn from each other. So sorry, Anna, I stole this slide from you. I just saw that you already presented, but I wanted to emphasize that in the project, on the one hand, on the project, we have a whole work package devoted to establish synergies and links with other European initiatives. It is led by EuroCC and BDVA, and it is very much aligned with the strategy of BDVA that Anna presented before to establish links with other initiatives in Europe. And this is what we are doing here today. So I just wanted to finish my introduction because after a quick check of our both projects, I have identified several aspects that maybe we can explore also in this workshop, but also in future workshops, because at the end of the day, we are doing, if not similar things, just activities quite similar in our own ecosystem. For instance, both of us we are creating a federation of network of initiatives based also on common assets. In our case, we are creating this federated catalog. In the case of EuroCC and CASTIEL, you already included in your webpage HPC competencies and base services. In our case, we have also our own catalog of training and courses. In the case of EuroCC, you have also your training offer that we will explain later on. And finally, we have links with the data-driven initiatives. In our case, with BDVA, the projects under the Big Data Value PPP, as they will present later on, also with other projects under the data in the new artificial intelligence data and robotics PPP. In the case of CASTIEL and EuroCC, you have links with other initiatives. So this is something that we can also explore in our workshop today. And basically, this is all from my side. Again, really excited to be here, to look forward to the discussion later on. And thanks for giving us the opportunity to learn with you today.
So thank you very much, Daniel, for this introduction. So my turn now to briefly introduce the EuroCC project and the CASTIEL project, just again to have everybody on the same page. So let's move on EuroCC and then CASTIEL rapidly. EuroCC, first of all, my name is Luisa Monti and I'm ABD, Big Data Association in Italy. My role here is being the leader of the work package 2 in CASTIEL, dealing with competencies and networking. That's why I'm here organizing this meeting today. So first of all, about EuroCC, we'll be talking about a project putting together 33 national competence centers in many different countries. You see them listed here, talking about national competence centers on high performance computing, high performance data analytics, and artificial intelligence. The project is supported by the Coordination Support Action CASTIEL, and the main goals of the EuroCC project is to develop and integrate and enhance during time a broad service portfolio of service and products, and in terms of a long-term action, also developing federated services. So here the point of federated services turns again as an important aspect we have in common with EUH4D and BDVA. So in terms of course, the goals is also to increase the competencies on the 3 main pillars, HPC, HPDA, and AI during time, and see this ecosystem growing in terms of both competencies and services delivered to the end users. EuroCC should be the single point of contact, being the condition to serve as, central pivot for this ecosystem of 33 national competence centers, eventually further national competence centers to come in the future. And CASTIEL, which is the coordination support actions, is only some of the countries dealing with it, of course. And anyway, CASTIEL is focused in trying to support the growing of this network of 33 national competence centers, of course, dealing with different maturity levels of these hubs, of these points, of these different points of the network, and also trying to coordinate with other relevant stakeholders at the European level. Of course, the goals are closing gaps and trying to enhance the overall capabilities and competencies of the network, and trying to support the NCCs with materials, mechanisms, creating opportunities like the one today of liaising with other projects and other initiatives. Of course, the ambition is to foster the development of the participating countries within the EuroHPC ecosystem. Of course, we're talking about initiatives that are financed by the EuroHPC joint undertaking, which was mentioned by Anna before. So we're talking about, the overall goal of improving the infrastructures, services, and products around HPC available around Europe, across Europe. So that's it on my side. I would now close this first introductory session. So we should all be on the same level playing field. Very excited then to start with the data observing techniques. If Miroslav is ready, I would leave to him the floor. Miroslav, Uskaric is a member of HLRS, and he will illustrate to us the orchestra project. So Miroslav, if you dare, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the invitation. Yeah, I will now try to share my screen.
Yes, we say.
Okay, so oops, I'll go to the beginning. So I will give a brief overview of the case study in the orchestra project using the federated data analysis approach. I will give a brief overview of the orchestra project, talk a little bit about the data that is being collected, challenges, of course, which are present, and also of our IT architecture for the federated data analysis. So orchestra is a project which has received funding from the Horizon 2020 program. The objective is to create a new pan-European cohort to rapidly advance the knowledge on the COVID-19 infections. So there are overall 37 partners from both 15 both EU and non-EU countries. And one of the work packages are dedicated to the data management. So there are a couple of steps defined. First step is to create and regularly update the data management plan. Then there is the data harmonization and standardization, so for the interoperability. Then there is the data protection and access policy assessment, which is of course important because we are dealing with the very sensitive information, the health data. Then there is the orchestra platform design and implementation. So this is the IT and architecture and software stack needed for the data analysis and data storage. And then there is the integration of statistical analysis and modeling workflows. So to allow the implementation of different statistical workflows on this architecture. So there are 3 HPC centers involved. So these are Cineca from Italy, CINES from France, and HLRS from Germany. And the other partners are also Berlin Institute of Health, Helmholtz Center from Munich, and University of Verona. So challenges with the data management and data analysis. So this research data is considered highly sensitive because it includes information about individual health records of patients, such as symptoms or pre-existing conditions. Also data, it contains data from some laboratory samples such as blood, nasal swabs, and so on. And in some cases also genomic data. So the second challenge is that this data is distributed among various sites in different countries, which means that the data might exist in different formats, and also that the different legal regulation may exist. For example, despite the fact that for example, data providers are within the EU and hence the GDPR, but still there are different implementations of data protection regulation on a national level. And the last challenge is, of course, coordination with the 37 partners from 15 countries. And the project aims for data management that can balance the need for sharing data across borders for joint analysis, and also to ensure the protection of sensitive personal data. So this is a basic example of a data set well, the data set is usually mentioned in the context of cohorts. So the cohorts in this case is a health data from a group of patients who share some defining characteristic, and those characteristics can be, for example, COVID positive patients, general population, fragile patients groups such as organ transplant recipients, healthcare workers, and also some genomic data such as biobanking or virus host interactions. Well, the system developed for the orchestra projects basically comprises 3 layers. So the first layer is the data providers. So the partners that, these are the partners that conduct the studies and that they hold the data, such as university hospitals. And then there are national hubs. So these are storage brokers in Italy, France, and Germany, so hosted by the HPC centers, who centralize the data and share it on a national level. Only if it's allowed by the either data protection legislation or patient consent. So, and then the goal is to safely provide a harmonized and de-identified data to the data analysis tools. And then at the top, there is the orchestra portal, which is deployed at Cineca. And it is envisioned as a pan-European portal for sharing the aggregated data. And it's also has a purpose of a central node for the data analysis. So it is, of course, very important to ensure scientific or good practices from the scientific data management and stewardship. So we, of course, follow these so-called FAIR data principles. So the data, to ensure findability, so the data stored or managed with the projects are can be described by metadata for findability, then accessibility, if of course allowed by the data protection legislation, which has to be proved. It is then ensured, so it is then possible to share anonymized data, so it's completely identified and cannot be identified again. Then there is also the possibility to share aggregated data and cohort statistics. And interoperability, well, here the already existing and well-accepted standards are used, such as GECKO, which is the German Corona consensus dataset. So it's a basis for electronic case report forms. Then there is the Health Level 7 FHIR standard for the machine-readable data formats, and then there's semantic interoperability using SNOMED CT collection of terminologies and LOINC, so for medical laboratory observations. And then there is a reusability, so data quality assurance, and also the information about analysis workflow can be provided. And then there is so the need for a federated data analysis. So well, it's interesting because it allows to collectively analyze data which are located at different locations. So then there are also cases where data cannot be moved either to a national hub or to the orchestra portal due to the strict legal regulations, or if there is when there is a missing informed patient consent, or when the data is too big, which is usually present with the genomic data. And one of the further motivation is that this approach there is no need for a data centralization, no exchange of sensitive data, and the algorithms can be applied directly on the location where the data is located. So this is a brief overview of the architecture. in the project. So here you can see, for example, these national hubs. They are there is, for example, in Italy, so hosted by this, which is hosted by Cineca. There is also additional software called RedCap, which is for acquiring data through the electronic case report forms, which is useful for the some specific type of data analysis, such as long-term sequelae or prospective studies. And then there is also some further steps are, of course, database or where the data is being stored. Then there is this harmonization part involved, some additional software for the federated data analysis or federated learning, which are installed both on the central portal and on each national hub, as well as local, so-called local hub, which are hosted and administrated by the data providers.
Miroslav, sorry, just a
Yes.
couple of minutes, then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, so this is one example of the architecture, which is, for example, hosted at HLRS. So the also well-accepted software is used, such as Opal, MongoDB for the database management system, R, program for statistical analysis, and perhaps one of the packages worth mentioning here is the Data Shield, which provide a very safe federated data analysis. So that means that completely anonymized information is being shared with the analyst. So this, how the workflow looks like for importing data to the national hub is that the data from remote sources are de-identified there and ingested into the database management system, managed by also by the Opal software. And then these data are exposed to the R server, which is also hosted at the same location as the national hub. And yes, so these R Data Shield packages, they trigger analysis function on the data, collect the aggregated result, and send them back to the data analyst, or if they can be also combined with other data from other data providers or other analysis from the same workflow. And one of the analysis scenarios which are currently being developed and by the project is, for example, intervention effects on infection process and economy. Then there is impact of socioeconomic environmental factors, impact of the pandemic on socioeconomic factors. There is impact of delayed services to fragile population, relative costs, and modeling of vaccine trials and strategies. Yes, so this is basically, and the federated data analysis allow us to see, for example, what are the effects on different approaches to this COVID pandemic employed by the different countries, and to draw some conclusions out of it. And yes, that would be all from my side. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Miroslav. Then, of course, to the attendees, you can use the chat in case you have some questions for our speakers, so that eventually they can be back to you with answers, or eventually you can use the contacts that they leave in order to contact them later on. I'll then pass the floor to our next speakers. So we'll see here now 3 presentations from 3 different projects coming out from Horizon 2020 Big Data Value Public-Private Partnership. So we will start with Rigo Wenning from the W3 Consortium, who will illustrate to us the Mosaic Crown project. So Rigo, if you're there and ready, you can take the floor and start with your presentation. Thank you. We see the slides.
Okay, just putting on the camera so you can see me also. Hi, this will be very, very quick because 10 minutes is impossible to present the entire project because it's too complex. But I try to give you an idea. And if you have questions or if you are interested in the methods and things we developed, either contact Anna. She will then put us in contact, or contact me directly under Rigo, R-I-G-O, @w3.org. Okay, introduction to Mosaic Crown. This caters to the data economy. It's creating a data market. We have more and more data coming from sensors, from smart cities, smart cars, from everywhere, and it's growing rapidly. Availability and sharing is essential for economy and society. We get insights, we get smarter. It's catering to the European data strategy, but as we have seen in the previous presentation, missing consent and all that can make data unusable. Then you need to aggregate, and the reconstruction attacks are so good that the more you aggregate, the less information you have in your data set. So the Mosaic Crown vision is that we enable sharing and collaborative analytics in multi-owner scenarios, and while at the same time ensuring proper protection. And this is the overall architecture, where you see that treatment is done at ingestion time, at storage time, and at sharing time. So the objectives is to support a rich set of protection requirements, a data governance framework, a data wrapping, which is encryption and securing data, data sanitization, which is anonymization but also filtering, and effective exploitation in real-world operational environments by demonstrations. So the expected impact is GDPR compliance, made easy, very easy, by the way. Citizens' trust and UX is improved by privacy, where transparency and control features across platforms. It provides new hooks for UX improvements, a lot of them. Value creation is improved and new opportunities. The approach is requirements capturing and representation, meaning this is the more or less in the ingestion. Because when you add policy by hand, it doesn't scale. So at the data collection time, normally the environment provides all kinds of information. And this is also the relation to high performance computing, because in order to tackle data protection, we need more data, not less. And we need policy information.
Rigo, sorry, we don't see the slides going through.
Oh,
can you just put them, I mean, restart presenting the slides. Let's see if it works.
Your screen sharing is paused, it says.
Yeah, it
okay,
just.
But we don't see them moving, Rigo. So now we see them moving.
Now we see them, yeah, thank you.
Okay, so I show you, did you see this one?
No, we only saw the first one.
Okay, so again, so that's data economy. Then this is the architecture where I say ingestion, storage and sharing, provide data governance framework, expected impact. The approach. Here we are, the approach is requirements capturing, because in the environment we need to collect the data. We don't collect it by hand because it doesn't scale. And this really makes high performance computing a requirement. And this applies across the board, from robotics to Industry 4.0 to everything. We then, in Mosaic Crown, we have enforcement technologies to secure data in shared spaces. This is called wrapping. It's more or less encryption in some smart ways. And we have the enforcement phase of this, in ingestion, storage, and analytics. So data owners need to have express their requirements and the constraints that come with data, and we do that by policies. And you can see from the right bottom that this is an annotation. We annotate data, and we use linked data to do so. And then the enforcement techniques is we provide wrapping. That means data is transformed and encrypted, and the data access only to certain parts of this information. And sanitization is filtering, but also anonymization. So you get data, you sanitize, and you don't get much of it back. So that means we do that at ingestion time because your environment is very rich, and sanitization allows you to filter the environmental data that you want to keep because it's relevant for policies. It allows you to encrypt certain data that you ingest and that you collect at ingestion time already. So it's only in encrypted form in your data, and you need a certain special access to decrypt it. For example, Article 9 data, medical data that we just heard. Then we have storage. And then we have data sharing, where we can leverage, for the data sharing, we can leverage policy, we can decide which data types we share, which data types we need to sanitize, and which data types need to be encrypted, for example, in a multi-party computation scenario. Methodology is everything in Mosaic Crown is modular and can be used gradually. That means every wrapping or sanitization or policy technology can be used modular. You don't need to have the entire Mosaic Crown data market. It's just every tool is usable in isolation, and this makes it very much usable for your projects and for your high performance computing goals. So. And it works along different dimensions. It's the data governance framework that you can use, the wrapping or the sanitization. So the dimension of this problem are the policy, the enforcement, and the technologies and the enforcement phase, which is here nicely put into cubes that show the dimensions. So the policy has a reference metadata model, policy model language, and a policy management. The wrapping has basic techniques, enforcement mechanisms, a controlled query execution, and other aspects. That data sanitization has mainly privacy metrics and risks. Data sanitization techniques mainly differential privacy and multi-party computation, and collaborative computation for sanitization. We had the 3 use cases to demonstrate those techniques. The first one was intelligent connected vehicles by Dell in Cork in Ireland, a data market for financial data analytics by MasterCard, which is a credit card company, and for data sanitization, we had the cloud-based market for consumer analytics by SAP. It's mostly anonymization. So the first one is really exploring this data governance framework, and this was very successful because the intelligent vehicles ingested data. The user could give it some policies, and the fleet could give it. Fleet manager could give it some policies. Then it was in the governance framework, and depending on the permissions, analytics were done. Financial data was mostly about encryption of sensitive financial data and gradually opening up depending on what permissions as a financial manager and as an access to this market you have. And finally, data market for consumer analytics was for SAP. And as I said, it's mainly differential privacy in very smart ways. I can tell more offline if you want. So the reusable results is this a really comprehensive method to gather your requirements, a data governance framework that is really working well with linked data and annotations, a policy model language, data wrapping, and data sanitization. And that's it from me. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Rigo. Thank you very much. So we will pass rapidly then to our next speaker, Lukas Helminger from No Center. He will tell us about the safety project. So Lukas, the floor is yours. You've got 10 minutes, rough.
Perfect. You can see my slides?
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for having me, and especially safety as a project to present to you. It was a rather small project, but in my opinion, very successful project. So my name is, as you said, Lukas Helminger. I'm a researcher at the No Center in the data security area. In safety, my responsibility was in work package 5, which was about the safe in safety. So what all about this safety? So the vision was twofold. It was a competitive Europe where individuals and companies are fully aware of the value of the data, but not only that, as we have seen already in the last project presented, it's very important as a European project that people and companies can feel safe to use their data, that is not misused, but used in a way that benefits the economy and also protects the rights from individuals. The safety project consisted of 8 partners. So there were 3 research companies. No Center was the consortium lead, and then was also another company from another research center from Austria, RSA, which took the scientific lead, and EuroCC from Barcelona, which was about data evaluation, what we'll see in the next slides. And then there were also 3 companies with Infineon, a semiconductor supplier, which provided industry data, and then Forthnet, now known as Nova, a telecommunications company, which provided personal data with the use case. And additionally, we had 2 universities, which one was KU Leuven, which was dealing with all the legal aspects that come up if you do data analytics on multiple parties. And then there were 2 TU Delft, which they deal with the business models that arise, or new business models that arise from the possibilities, which we also saw in the last project, for example, from multi-party computation. And so the most visible outcome of the project is a personal data demonstrator. So this personal data demonstrator consists of 3 components which work together. So the first one is a multi-party computation-based protocol, more specifically a private set intersection protocol. This allows 2 companies, or maybe 2 divisions of a company, to work together on data sets and find common interests. For example, in safety, we looked at where do, for example, 2 different companies have business together. So where are clients that they have, in which geographical region they have common customers, so they can maybe do some joint work there. But since multi-party computation only protects your data during the computation, you also need then somehow to verify that the output of the computation doesn't contain too sensitive information that you don't want to share. And so it was important also to have a component that analyzes this output and looks for de-anonymization risks. And the second pillar of safety was that companies will be more aware what the data is really, what the value is of their data. And so we wanted to put a price tag on their data sets by sophisticated methods from algorithms, but also through some standard questions that we derived. We were not able to put really a price tag on it. This was a bit too ambitious, but the outcome was a score on your data set, so that you give you a feeling every company where they should work if their data set is already good enough to monitorize. And this is how the personal demonstrator looks like. So it is still available, at least a public version that is somehow a bit reduced because of data regulation, because of some rules that we don't have there, the actual data. But you can try it out. And if you're more interested, please just go to our website at safedeed-deed.eu. There you can find all the contacts that you maybe get an invitation for the demonstration of the private one, so with more capabilities. And also there you find the safety volume, which is a deliverable which summarizes all the outcomes and gives you the links to the more detailed deliverables. So now we had, this was the technology part. So we have this technology solution, but a lot of companies are not or cannot think in a way how to connect their data with outside sources. So they just lack the ability to think outside of their data ecospace, which they have in their company, and which other data could be useful for them. So the TU Delft lead the effort to make such tools for data-driven businesses, where you can now have a really hands-on approach with companies and you can walk them through how to reach to a conclusion, which data you should exploit, with whom you should collaborate and so on. And lastly, then, if a company decides, okay, we want to use MPC or some other technology that was mentioned, like differential privacy or federated learning, the next question often is, okay, how does this is reflected in the GDPR? So which consequences does it have if I use such a technology? And since there is no word mentioned in any regulation about MPC, federated learning, and even not encryption sometimes, this is very hard, and this has to be studied, and that's exactly what we've done. So give companies a bit of a feeling, if they use some of our technologies, which consequences do it have? Where do they benefit legally if they use, for example, multi-party computation? So to sum up, it was really an interdisciplinary approach focused on personal data and how you can monitorize it, but also how do you protect the individual rights granted through the general data protection. And yeah, that's the outcome of this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucas. Quite interesting your presentation as well, also because, yeah, one of the focus is exactly the one of being everybody confident in the way personal data are managed through the whole process of data processing. So thank you very much for your presentation. Again, if you have questions for us, you can use the chat or eventually contact them separately when you prefer. So going now to the last project of this session. The project is Musketeer, and Gal Weiss from IBM will present it. So Gal, when you're ready, you can jump in and show your slides and take the floor. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think I have a problem to share through Zoom. Oh, maybe Mattia, do you have my slides? Sorry about that.
Yes, I can share the screen for you. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, thank you very much, and sorry about that. Good morning, everyone. Gal Weiss from IBM Research in Ireland. I'm delighted to be here today. I'm the coordinator of the Musketeer project, which is from the ICT 13, started in 2018 and ended late November 2021. You can go to the next slide, please. So we are 11 partners. No, the previous one, sorry about that. We're 11 partners across Europe as IBM, the coordinator, where we had the two important use cases, which I'm going to speak in a second. One of them in the manufacturing with mainly engineering, FCA item, which is Fiat Chrysler and Comau, and the other one with the health domain, which the group of hospital in Greece called Hygieia, and Biotronic. And then, of course, Imperial College London 3 and University 3 Madrid, where you can see the picture from Madrid before COVID, one of the last meetings that we had. The next slide, please. So what we actually had in mind when we planned, and actually what we did, is to have kind of a machine learning approach in a federated privacy preserving scenarios. So basically try, if you like, in a nutshell, to see how we can share knowledge about machine learning, but in a privacy preserving scenarios, so to keep the data secured. What we did in the project and what we aim and completed is to validate the federated privacy preserving machine learning platform and create them and provide secure, scalable, and privacy preserving analytics back to the premises. Can you go to the next slide, please? And the development of the methodology, we basically used GitHub from very early stage, and this is something that I can definitely recommend. So we had in the project, each of the partners had their own personal GitHub repository, but also one shared for the entire project. And this early integration efforts is very important, and those regular integration help a lot. We developed those 18 repositories on the GitHub, build open standards and products, and contribute to the open source community as a whole. And we made sure that the majority of the assets were shared through open source. And very important to have dedicated cloud instance per use case. So last in the topic is the DevOps-based deployment, which is dedicated cloud instance per use case, as I said. Can you go to the next slide, please? And then in a very high level view, what we actually developed is, as you can see on the bottom, the premises. So the data user, which, for example, in the project, those are the Comau with the manufacturing data, Fiat Chrysler, and then the hospitals increase, which is the health data. So they hold the data in their premises and the aggregator, everything in the premises. What they share outside the premises, only the model, which goes to the IBM cloud, and then through different services could run the experiments, the machine learning, and return back the experiments. So we use through the IBM cloud, we use the RabbitMQ, the Cloud Object Store, Cloud Function, or the Kubernetes, and then all the information shared back without any type of data leaving the premises. Can you go to the next slide, please? And then how actually we secure the information that we're sharing. So we foresee some kind of attacks that we've been considered, like training time attacks, untrusted data sets, cloud secures, compromise the trains model, which are all being considered by the security partners, which is Imperial College London and IBM. And then during the project, we implemented those scenarios into the final assets. Go to the next slide, please. And another option is the evasion attacks through the execution time. So in Musketeer, we implemented mechanisms to detect malicious or faulty users that are then excluded from the federations of participants. Both poisonings and evasion attacks being tested during 2 hackathons during the project, both of them remote, totally remote, where we ask some participants to try and break our shields. We also tested it among ourselves during the research and the development through the end of the project. Next slide, please. And then we, in the project, we developed 6 different privacy operation mode, those POMs, which looking on different encryptions and different models that we should test, depends according to the data, and each of them has totally different approach and use different methods. So the Musketeer machine learning library, this is the MML, provide variety of models and training algorithms under those different POMs, which are security models. The training data is always protected, either on premises or encrypted. And the protection of the resulting model changes across different POMs. Next slide, please. And then how we can choose for each type of data, how to define what the right POMs. So we had this very specific guide that you can check. Do I need to protect the model? Who get a trained model? Do the worker trust each other, avoid encryption or not? And can I run non-colluding crypto processor? And then we could know what type of POM to use, and then the machine learning library know what to choose and what type of algorithm to use. Next slide, please. And then as a summary, as we just completed the project and including the final review, the Musketeer project developed 5 open source tools using machine learning capabilities for different privacy operation modes, as I just articulated a minute ago, applying federated learning techniques while ensuring security and privacy in various flavors for different privacy operation modes. And these Musketeers tools can be used for future research and collaboration, but also for business purposes and improvement. And we saw it from the SMEs and other organizations in the project that actually planning to use it. If you want any more information, you can use the links below for the project website or my email address. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gal. Thanks a lot. So going back to our agenda, I would say that we can, just let me briefly show it again. If I can find it. Yes. Okay. So going back to our agenda now, we should go to our next session. We are a little bit behind early in schedule, so we've got some minutes. So if you've got questions for our speakers, especially considering that we have thank you to our speakers again, received the presentation of 3 projects that are already ended and that can bring tools and outcomes available for further development and further projects. So in case you have questions, please raise your hand and you can take the floor. If not, we can move to our next session. So I will leave a couple of 10 seconds if there are hands raised. Anyone would like to have a curiosity answered? No, it doesn't seem so. So let's move forward. Let's then enter the second session of our meeting, which is focused on federated services and datasets. Lessons learned from the iSpaces Federation. Let me briefly say that the point of federated services is something that anyway is relevant also as inspiration for the HPC National Competence Centers, because there's the idea to develop federated services also at the level of the EuroCC network. So the experience that EUH4D and BDVA will bring today will of course be not only useful in terms of contents and results achieved in terms of federated services and data sets, but also in terms of how to put together federated services on our side as well. So I'm very interested to hear from our speakers in our next session, and I will leave the floor to Daniel Alonso again for the in-depth on the iSpaces Federation. So Daniel, when you're ready, you can start.
Thank you, Luisa. So I am back with my presentation. Again, I guess you can see my screen perfect. So thanks a lot for giving me the floor. Well, I would say that I will present more questions than answers. In my case, I will leave the lesson learned and answers to my colleagues of the project, Yunus, Guillermo, Andrea later on. But let me just introduce at least the iSpaces, the Federation of iSpaces, the steps that we have done towards the creation of this federation, the main challenges that we are encountering, and more or less how we are trying to address those challenges at this time of the project. Okay, so just starting with the concept, the iSpaces concept was coined by BDVA some years ago in 2014. It was included in the first version of the SRIA, the Strategic and Research Innovation Agenda of the BDVA, again in 2014. And the purpose of this concept is and this instrument iSpaces was considered by BDVA as a key instrument to foster data-driven innovation in Europe and to bring closer this innovation from European level to the regional ecosystems and to make it available by the small actors in the different, again, local and regional ecosystems. So basically what an iSpace is providing to small actors is an experimentation environment where those small actors can have their data-driven solutions exploited, tested, and checked before going to the market. So as you can see, the concept of iSpaces was quite similar at the beginning to a data-driven innovation hub. So the term of DIH was also coined by the Commission more or less at that time. So it seems that the need of SMEs and small actors to experiment with those innovations were also identified by BDVA and the Commission more or less at the same time. So yes, after that, the BDVA put in place a process every year to identify relevant initiatives in Europe and to be recognized as iSpaces. As I presented before this slide, the first call for iSpaces was launched in 2016, and 5 iSpaces were recognized at that time. From 2016, the group has been increasing over the different years. As you can see, again, every year we launch an open call to recognize initiatives that can be considered as iSpaces. And as a result of this collaboration, as I already presented before, in 2018, the 10 iSpaces started to work together in a proposal to the Horizon 2020 call DTICT05, Data-Driven Innovation Hubs. This proposal was submitted in 2019 and it was approved by the Commission. But of course, the project started in 2020, and now we are more or less at the midterm of the project. Actually, we'll have our midterm review next month. So yes, at the same time, the group of iSpaces keeps growing. So we have tried to keep aligned, on the one hand, the project with the partners and the hubs and new hubs, but also the iSpaces that were recognized in the subsequent years. The final objective is to all of us to collaborate together and to be aligned with the new instruments that the Commission is putting in place in the program. You know, the network of EDIs, the new data spaces, the testing and experimentation facilities, and other initiatives, and work together to this new landscape in Europe. So let me take advantage of this call also to say again, to emphasize that the call for iSpaces is open to any initiative in Europe. It is an open process that we launch every year, and of course we will be launching the call for these years around well before summer, around spring. So I encourage, if you are interested in be part of this group, be part of the iSpaces, and to help us to build this federation, to stay tuned and to submit your proposal once the call is open. Okay, so this is the process that we follow. We launch the open call. We publish a questionnaire that has to be completed. Based on this information, we perform the review, also including external reviewers, and we submit to the board of directors of BDVA our proposal to be approved, or yes, to be approved. Based on that, we announce the results to the new iSpaces, and we invite the new iSpaces to a ceremony that usually is carried out as part of the European Big Data Value Forum, that this year will be most likely be organized in Prague, in the Czech Republic, at the end of the year. So again, this is the process. If you are interested, stay tuned and to submit your application. If you have any doubt in the meantime, feel free to contact BDVA or myself. Okay. This is the picture of this year. It was already presented by Anna, but we have to say that we are really proud of this ecosystem that we have achieved. We have in total 36 hubs as part of this group, covering 35 regions in 21 countries. Most of those hubs are also participating in the project EUH4D, not all of them, because we don't have funding for all of them, but all the hubs are participating in other activities that we are carrying out right now, again, towards the creation of this federation. Okay, so this is the picture of what we are now around about iSpaces and hubs. As you can see, both the hub, the iSpaces group, and the project are very much aligned. So going back to the federation, I have to say, and again, this is a picture that you used at the beginning of the project regarding challenges and value. We have addressing challenges and we are creating value. As you can imagine, in a project like ours, there are many challenges because we are addressing several perspectives on the creation of the federation, interoperability, and again, some of those challenges will be addressed later on by my colleagues. But the first one, interoperability. In the project, we are using IDSA connectors, but of course, we are considering other options if they are needed from other hubs, other platforms, other networks. Data governance, it was also addressed in previous presentation, but in our case, it's also very important because we are creating this federated catalog. Sustainability of the federation for us is a very important aspect, because once the project is over, our idea is this federation of iSpaces will outlast the project with a sustainable evolution, ethics, legal, IT governance, data privacy and protection that has been addressed by the previous project also. And here in our project, we have dedicated tasks to data protection, service delivery, business, security, and exploitation. Of course, the main to overcome those challenges, the main aspect is to provide value to the hubs in the project, the group, and the federation. So of course, we are sharing knowledge, and this is something that we have done from the very beginning. Once the group was created, the first step was to share knowledge, to share our experiences and best practices, and also to identify synergies. In the project, we are going one step further, with the real connection and collaboration, improvement of our service offer based on the services provided by other hubs in our group. Also, we are increasing the value to our local ecosystems. Again, based on this collaboration, we have increasing the outreach to other SMEs in the European landscape, give visibility and positioning and learning. So again, this is a very general picture. We don't have time to go into detail of each of these aspects, but I just wanted to emphasize those ones. Okay, going to the one of the main assets of the project, which is the federated catalog, and again, it will be explained later on by my colleagues. So far, we have created 3 types of catalog. So we have the catalog of datasets, services, and courses, and all the hubs, the 30 hubs that I presented before, are contributing to this catalog. So the idea is to bring together all the assets of all our hubs and bring this common catalog that at this time in the project, the main purpose is to provide to the SMEs applicants to our open call for experiments with the whole catalog that they can use for their application. Of course, the final purpose of this catalog is to provide our local ecosystem with a more with an improved offer. And in this case, we are working not only in bringing together all those assets, but also in building a local delivery that each of the hubs will put in place based on their own needs. on their own requirement and specificities. So from the global catalog, we are moving to the local service delivery based on this global catalog, but personalized in this case to the local needs of each of the hubs. So this is why we are our theme, our main motto for the project is global catalog, local offer. So this is what we are doing with this federated catalog. We are already putting in place this service delivery in the case of because we are running in the project 3 rounds of experiments. We are selecting experiments through 3 open calls, and with those experiments we are fostering collaboration between the hubs of the project. Here, this is the picture of the first 10 experiments that we selected in the first open call. The experiments are almost done, and we have to say that we are really happy because one of the main reasons, objectives for these experiments is again to foster the collaboration among the hubs and to foster this common joint delivery. And you can see here the different combination of services that between the hubs of the project we have to put together to deliver the services to the SMEs that were part of the experiments. So again, this is not only a theory, this is something that we are already implementing, this common service delivery. So moving towards a real combination of services from our federated catalog. Also, one important aspect that we are addressing in the project is the exploitation and sustainability of the federation. This is something that we are working to, we have a two dedicated tasks in the project led by CARSA, a consulting company in our ecosystem. We are identifying all the potential key exploitable results that we have in the project, and also the main exploitable result, the main exploitable asset is the federated catalog. We have identified many of them, and based on that we are defining, we are planning the sustainability of the federation of ISPs and of hubs. Here you can see more or less the model that we are following. We are also collaborating with other and learning also from other initiatives, and it might be the case also in this case that we can also share from what EuroCC and CASTIEL are doing with in the network. But again, we are also learning from other projects, other initiatives, how they are addressing this exploitation and sustainability for the future. And just this is my last slide. I wanted to finish my presentation with this vision that we have now. We are now implementing. This is ongoing work. So this is something that we in the project we are still working on that, because we are thinking of how giving value to other projects and to other initiatives already running in Europe. So how to leverage our own catalog to include and to be enriched with assets coming from other initiatives. Still, this figure is quite simple. Of course, the reality is much more complicated. But again, this is something that we are thinking of, how to use our catalog, to leverage our catalog, to enrich our catalog with assets coming from other initiatives, and how we can use all those assets to give value, to give services to the final stakeholders and final users of the Federation of ISPs. And this is something that we can also exploit with some of the projects that are already presented, but also with EuroCC and the projects under the HPC environment. Okay. And this is all from my side. Again, I know that I have more questions than answers and just a very general overview, but now I will give the floor to my colleagues in the project that probably will explain with more detail some of the aspects of the federation. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Daniel. So I will, before leaving the floor to the colleagues, the 2 points that to me are quite striking, so that I will try to identify also in the following presentations are these global catalog local offer that you mentioned, Daniel, which is something on which probably we should think about also at the CASTIEL and EuroCC level. And the second one is the exploitation and sustainability plan, which is something on which, again, probably on our side more questions than answers, but it's something on which we are called as well to work. So this will be for sure topics on which we could exchange and benefit from this exchange with you guys. So let's move forward, and I will leave the floor to Yunus Bulut from KIT. Yunus will tell us a little bit more on the federated assets skills. So Yunus, please, when you're ready, you can take the floor and share your screen. You see the
Thank
screen?
you. I already shared. I think you can see it, right?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So yes, this is Yunus from Karlsruhe Institute of Technology from Germany. And I will try to give an overview of what we are doing inside the specific work package of the EUH4D that is dedicated to training and skills. So yeah, as Daniel mentioned, training and skills is one of the third pillars of the project, along with the services and the data sets. And inside this work package, we try to bring together the training capabilities of our project partners to enhance the skill set of the European SMEs out there, especially considering the data-related skills. And our focus is mostly on trainings that has a relation with data anyhow. So for this purpose, we have gathered the training offerings of our partners and we build up a training catalog. And last year in 2021, we executed our first training offerings. As you can see here, we organized 18 trainings. And in 2022, we are planning to organize much more than that. So as you can see, these trainings are mostly about data, whether it's data analytics, IoT, or any other thing related to data. So so far we are having good demand for our trainings, and we hope to get for our 2022 trainings as well. So our training catalog is available on our website. So if you click on our website, you can see that we have inside the catalog tab, we have the courses. Okay, so you can also browse it if you like. So we have more than 80 courses in our catalog, and we are also working on to expand this and extend this with new courses, with joint courses, etc. And yeah, people can search for specific courses and get in touch with the respective DIH to take one of our courses. So you can see the courses of our project participants, and we are also getting new DIHs into federation. So this will likely to enrich more in the near future. So yes, as I said, you can also see our course catalog on our website. So as I tried to highlight, our main focus is on data. So whether it's about the technical things about data, like data analytics, data science, machine learning, or whatever, or whether it is about things like ethics, data governance, data security, GDPR, the upcoming AI regulations, we try to cover and provide a holistic training catalog so that an interested person can search our catalog and find a suitable course related to any of our focuses. So right now we are mostly hosting technical courses in our catalog, but we also have courses on data management, security, etc. One thing that we want to work on more is that we would like to create a synergy between our partners and create some joint courses both during the project phase and after the project finished and the federation established. So for this purpose, for example, we first organize a joint course, for example, between KIT and CDAR, KIT from Germany and CDAR from Spain, a course on the AI regulations and how to prepare for that. But in 2022, we are also thinking about organizing training events that is fully dedicated to trainings, which will cover, as I said, many topics related to data. So it can be a couple of days long event, probably in the autumn of this year. And with creating such joint courses, that the courses that are developed and held by more than one partners, we want to create a synergy inside the European ecosystem of trainings and create more value of that, both for our partners and both for the society here in Europe. So another thing, apart from bringing together the courses and implementing them, we also have a mobility program. What we mean by mobility program is that, so we have experts and some of our partners in the project have some specific strength in a specific fields, but some others may lack that ability or the capability. So what we want to put in place is that the beneficiaries of the project partners can get benefit from the experts of the other participants. So they can request, for example, instructors for specific courses or experts for some specific data experiments or even a speaker for a workshop. We are trying to mobilize these experts inside ourselves to share the cumulative expertise of the Federation, EUH4D Federation. And actually, last week or the week before that, I don't remember exactly, but we had a call with Martina from CASTIEL on how we can cooperate between EuroCC and EUH4D from the training and skills perspective. So we had a really fun call, and we identified, how we can cooperate together. And in the upcoming weeks, probably we will initiate some more serious stuff on how we can, create a synergy between our projects. So one thing that we have in our minds is that we will share, for example, our course catalog in your platforms, and we can also try to arrange some experts for the organizations or the events you try to make this year or next year, whatever. So in that sense, we will try to cooperate both in terms of the catalog sharing and the augmenting our demand and supply side, but also we will put in place a mobility program probably between our projects. So last thing that I want to mention is that we are also developing a learning management system platform. So it will be a one-stop shop for all of our courses in the future, which will be maintained by the Federation. So it will be a really strong platform to get, any kind of training, as I said, related to data. So we are working on to build up our production environment, and we will launch it soon as well. So this is our LMS platform. So thank you. This is a quick overview of what we are doing in terms of training in the EUH4D project. So if you want to get in contact with us, you can just write me an email or Giorgio an email. So we would like to start a conversation. So thank you.
Thank you a lot, Yunus, and I'm really happy that you already started this cooperation with Martina Blaskova from the CASTIEL project, so that concerning training, we will see already some synergies between the two projects. So happy to hear this. Thank you very much. And then we come to our final presentation today, as we say, last but not least. I'll ask Guillermo Amat and Andrea Manzi, Guillermo Amat from ITI and Andrea Manzi from EGI, to take the floor and tell us about the technical aspects of the federation. So when you're ready, you can start. And then we will get to the closing part of our session today.
Okay, thank you, Luisa. Andrea will take the floor first. So Andrea, please go ahead.
Yes. I'm sharing my screen. Okay, good morning. I'm Andrea Manzi from the EGI Foundation. And so first, I'm going to describe a little bit the federated assets that's regarding datasets and services. Basically, the idea is to first describe this, and then Guillermo will continue the discussion with the details on the technical aspects. So basically, as Yunus described, so we have the main outcome. So first of all, I will describe the federated catalog for services and datasets, the first version and improvements, and some more details about it. And then we describe a little bit the activity that we're doing in order to expand the offer of the catalog. So describe a little bit what will be the the new DHs that are joining the project and community building activities, and of course the open calls and experiments which contribute also to expanding the offer. And then a little bit also about the data privacy and protection details. Basically, since we have in the previous section you have described a little bit the project have described the data privacy and protection activities. We'll also see what we're doing in the project, in particular for the in terms of data privacy and protection for the data providers. So as also displayed by Daniel, we have the idea in the project is to build this federated catalog for service and datasets. In this case, because I'm focusing on these two, but of course, as I've seen before, we're also doing the federated catalog for courses, and so that the EUHs will of course publish they'll offer at the European level, and then will also be able to instantiate the services datasets from other EUHs at local level in order to support SME or startups in their region. We started like immediately in the project, so we have two work packages that are dedicated to the service catalog and the dataset catalog, because basically really after 3 months of the project there was already we connected a first open call for SMEs, so we had to build a first version of the catalog basically after 3 months. And what we did is basically we created a initial definition of the entries for both the services and the datasets. So working on the templates and the categorization, identify also the offer from the different EUHs participating in the project, and also bringing their high value datasets that are coming from the European repositories. After the first open call, of course, we received the feedback from the applicants, and during the 2021 we started, of course, 2021 we started improving the catalog. This is happened together with other activities that start in parallel, which will be described by Guillermo after my talk. So the framework for catalog synchronization, and then of course activity regarding data sharing and interoperability. So in the case of the catalog that you have seen now in the website. So we work mainly in the case of datasets, improving the license targeted information, providing categorization according to data privacy and protection, using, for instance, control vocabulary for domains, so 100% the one for the European Data Portal, and that goes to disclaimer for datasets provided by third parties. And for concerned services, we improved the categorization, introduced granularity and description, success stories for different services, and also improved the age security information, which are used then by applicants in order to select the services. So for some details, at the moment we have like 160 services on the catalog. So they are like grouped by first level, tier 1, let's say, of business development, ecosystem building, data, AI and technology, infrastructure access, and technology consultancy and training. And so it's not only like technology services, but also business development, training, and consultancy. And regarding data, AI, and technology infrastructure access, we have like half of the services in this area, and we also include in this area also private and proprietary datasets, which are selected for open calls and are consumed by data-driven services during the experiments. And for the datasets which are not like private or proprietary, we have like 150 data sources, about 90 single datasets and 60 repositories. For the expansion of the offering, so as I said, we have already onboarded like 9 DIHs during 2021, and new 9 DIHs will join in 2022. And this during 2021, the first set of DIHs provide services and private property datasets that will be used during the second open call. And also the new DIHs joining in 2022, together with the previous one, will also publish open datasets in the catalog in order to reach the offer. And of course, we have the dedicated work package in the project, work package 2 for community building. And we have also as today the workshop has been organized, but we also have the other events, like recently we had an event with ICT 13 Data Platform Project in order to understand their offering, and if we could include their datasets or services in our catalog. And of course, most important are also the open calls and experiments. So as I said before, we have like a first open call and also a second project open call, which is running now. And this is me using the catalog in order to select the services and the datasets. And there will be another open call like during before the end of the project. And then one of the other requirements is that the SMEs which are selecting the services will have to use services from at least 2 DIHs in order to, of course, implement, if possible, the data sharing and interoperability. In order to extend the catalog with the SMEs, we have like 2 ways of doing it. So basically, the SMEs either they produce data sets during the execution of experiments that might be integrated in the catalog. For instance, the first open call, we had around 20 data sets available for publication and sharing. Or we suggest them to bring data sets that would be needed in order to execute the experiments, which are not yet available in our catalog. And of course, during the execution of the experiments, they will publish those data sets in our catalog. For one concern data privacy and protection, as in before, we had a specific task which is dealing with this. Mainly, they're providing guidelines for data management for using the DIH and the project participants. So far, the guidelines have been mainly on categorization of the datasets from the privacy personal data protection perspective, the definition of the roles of the project participant and the GDPR, and the protection of personal data and the GDPR, and then giving, of course, guidelines for the processing of personal data. And the first version of the guidelines was released in February, and then the second version has been updated in 2021. And together with the guidelines, we have also a checklist which is intended to provide the members of the federation with details on and recap of the privacy data aspect that should be taken into account. As I said before, this is mainly for data providers, by including your data sets on the catalog, and there will be also an extension of the guidelines in order to cover recommendation for experiments participants. Okay, thank you. This was about the datasets and service federation. I think now there are no questions. Guglielmo will continue the presentation.
Thank you, Andrea. If there are no questions, I will continue with my presentation in this case. So I'm sharing my screen now. So first of all, thank you for having me here. I'm Guillermo Amat. I work for ITI, and I'm also the technical manager of the EUH4D project. I want to explain the implementation of the federation that we are trying to implement in this project. I'm going to give a small introduction first of the idea of this federation. Maybe I'm going to repeat some concepts already told by my colleagues, but then I will enter into technical details, but not going at a low level. So the idea of this federation is the idea of the project of EUH4D is to build a federation of digital innovation hubs. As we say, currently we are 21 hubs, and before summer we will be adding more digital innovation hubs to this group. So we will be 30. And as you can imagine, before the project, each one of these hubs had already their own list or their own catalog of services, datasets, and courses, which are the main assets that we are managing at this project, as you saw in the previous presentations. So when we started the project, the first logical step was to offer these services as a single entity, as the EUH4D project. So let's say something like branding, okay? So now we are, at the beginning of the project, we were offering the global catalog, and this concept returns the global catalog for a local perspective, because mainly because the assets that we are offering in the project, in the federation, are common, but the idea is to give local support for the entities, for the small companies, small and medium companies of the local ecosystem of each hub. The next step and the final one for building a real federation of hubs is to reach technological interoperability between the IHs. This means to offer all the assets in a real federated way, as I will explain later in terms of interoperability, what does it means this. So where we currently, as you can imagine, we are in the middle of this transformation. The project is also in the midterm, but we are somehow in the middle of this transformation, which is what is between what is the common catalog, the common branding for the assets, and the real interoperability. We are starting to have results in this technological interoperability. Okay, now let's go with the technical details, and we will see how we are building this federation. So the construction of this model is based mainly on three technological aspects or technological developments. One is the federated catalog, which is to provide the assets that we were speaking before, the courses, the services, the data sets. To build this catalog, a grouping the assets of all the members, but giving some sense, I will explain later in the next slide. The second pillar is the interoperability. Here we are using the IDSA reference architecture model, And the third one is a custom development that is called the Service Delivery Framework. Okay, you are already saw the federated catalog in the previous presentations. Currently, we are in the second version of this catalog. We did the first effort, the first version of this catalog for the first open call of experiments. And then we had several meetings to improve how the information is presented to the final end user, which are the companies or the SMEs. And as a result of that, we did an iteration of the layout and the structure of the catalog. And now we are, it was deployed, it was ready for at the same time that the second open call of experiments, just to improve this catalog to make things more or easier for the companies when applying to the second open call. There are more features planned for this catalog, but these features are related to the third component that I was mentioning before, the service delivery framework, and this will allow to have a real federated catalog, meaning that we will have, let's say, a main catalog showing all the assets of all the members, but at the same time, each hub will have the opportunity to present a reduced version of the catalog, selecting the assets that they are more interesting to offer. Regarding interoperability, what we are using, as I said, is the International Data Spaces Association reference architecture model. And using that, we want to create a trusted data exchange environment, including all the members of the federation. The reference architecture model presents a lot of components, and some of them are, let's say, mandatory, and some optional. What we are deploying right now are connectors, of course, because they are needed for each hub. Each hub should have at least one connector to communicate with the others. A broker component and adapts for managing the identities of the members of this environment. This is the diagram that is in the reference architecture model document, and this is somehow what we are implementing. Okay, what we are deploying. And basically, we have connectors, we have a broker, and we have dApps, and maybe there are some other components that we are not using, but the main components here are the connectors. We are using the version 6 of the data space connector, which is probably one of the most mature connectors that follows the specification of the reference architecture model. And the first objective that we were trying to cover with this architecture was to provide access to datasets using these connectors, meaning that from one hub you can retrieve a dataset that is hosted by another using this model, these connectors. Okay. Currently, we achieved this objective at the beginning of this year. And now we are focused on the achievement, we want to test the usage control that are provided also by the connectors that we are using. So, as I said, we achieved this first objective, and now we are able to share datasets using different connectors, one from the consumer side and the other from as a provider of this dataset. The last component that was in the list was the service delivery framework, and this is the development that is in the project and that tries to share the metadata of the assets between the partners in order to distribute this metadata and allow the members to share the services, to share the assets in general, using a federated model. As you can see here in the main features that are listed, we want to give the features or allow what is shown in a local hub, what a local hub want to provide to the rest of the members. And also there are additional aspects that are related to the validation of assets in terms of accepting the legal aspects or checking the legal aspects and the ethical aspects involved for that datasets using a control flow and giving the decision to ethical or legal experts. So in terms of aspects more related to I think it's the purpose of this session. I want to go or to explain a little bit more about the experiments or the actions we did related to the exploitation of these services. In the first case, in the experiments, we have many, all the members offering, all the hubs that belong to the project offering services, not only technological services, but also giving support for the services selected for the companies, but also offering consultancy about even about business exploitation and things like that. But in terms of this session, we have all the experiments using computational services and data sets from different hubs of the operation. So this model I was putting as an example, and it allows to provide a data set from a hub, send it to another member, to another hub using this interoperability technology, and use this data set in the other hub for computation and obtaining some results from a data set that was originally hosted by another member. Of course, we have some lessons learned after the first round of the experiments. We are quite happy with the results that we have achieved because indeed the SMEs are happy with the services that they have used and the support that they have received from us. And the level of collaboration between the hubs and the SMEs were pretty good. Also, we found some issues to solve and some aspects to improve. At the beginning of the project, it was very difficult to learn or to use the model itself that was proposed by the reference architecture model. We found also that the connectors especially were somehow immature, and we have to upgrade these components to achieve some results because also we found some incompatibility, backwards incompatibility between the components, and finally we have to upgrade to the version 6, as I said. But now even we have some decisions to make in terms of staying with the data space connector or migrating to the Eclipse data space connector. Probably we will stay with the data space connector because of the maturity aspect that I was commenting. Also, there's another effort to include more DIHs. In the process, we have added new DIHs, and other 9 DIHs will be joining us in April. And what we are offering them is at least to take part of this shared catalog, but also inviting them to adopt the implementations and to deploy connectors to achieve this level of interoperability using the same technologies that we are using. So any hub or any entity interested in joining us or to provide services to our project and our federation should consider if they want only to release these services in our catalog, or also they want to take part of this implementation of this interoperability model and adopt the same components that we are using to achieve this. And I think that's all from my side. Yeah, I hope that it was a clear explanation. Sorry for because the time maybe it's not allowing us to explain better so many aspects, but that was all from my side.
Thanks a lot, Guillermo, and thank you to all our speakers. I guess that we can leave some minutes for eventual questions, also in the chat if you want, if you prefer to write. If there's no further question, I would then just pass to the conclusions. Of course, let me first of all thank you guys, all the speakers, all the attendees, but especially Ana Garcia Sanchez and Daniel Alonso and Mattia Trino for supporting in the organization of this workshop. Without them, it would not have been possible to have such interesting speeches today. We've seen many valuable results of projects that have already been concluded, and we received many inputs and inspiration concerning what's already going on in EUH4D that could be relevant to extend and to make synergies with for EuroCC and CASTIEL players. So thanks a lot again to all of you. And I would ask Mattia to stop the recording. Anna, please, if you want to say a few words.
Well, I just, I think you already closed, but I want to thank you and also your team and I mean, everybody that, as you said, has been behind the organization of this event and the overall EUH4D consortium. Many people have been discussing and contributing to this event today. So as I said at the very beginning, I think this is the beginning of a long-term collaboration, and I hope soon we have also a joint paper together describing, you know, how this collaboration can be taken forward and how we can really learn from each other. But I guess Daniel Alonso would like to also say a few closing words.
Daniel, please.
Thanks a lot, Anna and Luisa. No, just to emphasize what you already said, and what Anna mentioned, for us is just a first step. We are, I think both EuroCC and EUH4D, we are at our mid-term of our project. So I think it's a very good opportunity to foster this collaboration. I think we are at the right time to start working on that. As my colleagues already explained, we are still facing some challenges, but we did a long, well, not a long run, but at least some run already. So I think we are ready. And the timing is perfect. So just to emphasize this collaboration, I'm really happy to excited to have been participating in this event. Thanks a lot, Luisa.
Thank you, guys. And yes, well, that's the first step, and then we'll meet again soon, and you know, grow this collaboration together. So thanks a lot again. Matthew, you can please stop the recording, and yeah, for the ones that are invited in the restricted meeting, you can stay there, and we'll start the call with the other participants.